Hi everyone. Today I wanted to show you this shell that I came across. It is decades old. Not sure how old it is. If anybody could help me with this, it's made by the Grand Fireworks Manufacturing in Cuba, New York. And I have just found a few little references to that. Most of that was when something exploded there, a barn caught on fire or something. And a couple of guys were killed. And I think this was after this had actually officially closed. But anyway, if anybody knows about that, let me know. But I thought I would disassemble this and see exactly what serpents look like. This is a 3-inch serpent, and I thought it was very interesting. It weighs 336 grams. I'm going to disassemble it. I'll weigh the lift. I'm always interested in percentages of lift to the shell weight. So anyway, let's go ahead and disassemble this, see what we get. I'll cut this wrapping loose. Alright, looks like they've got the lift powder actually is in a separate little bag, so we're good there. Still a little bit of leakage there. Interesting. Let's cut this fuse here on the string. And a new blade. And dull. Alright. Okay, so inside it's actually labeled on top that it's serpent. Got a warning label on there. Again, it says who manufactured it. Let's see what the weight of the lift is. Very strange. It's not even the lift. Well, I guess it is poked down inside there, maybe. No, it's not even poked inside the. So the time fuse is just sitting down in the plastic here, so it's not even open directly. All right, it's 44 grams for the lift. Let me write that down. So that's over 10%, which I usually try to go by. Alright, so time fuse goes around. The quick match goes around down in there. Let me pull that loose. And that's just your normal quick match. And the time fuse is cross-matched, as you can see, just like what we're used to seeing. So let's try to take this green paper off and take a look at the spiking, if I can. I don't know if it'll come off separately or not. It may not. Alright, so let me try to cut across it here. So for those of you that may not be familiar with these type of shells, they will actually, once it's assembled and sealed up, they will do what's called, they'll use string and do what's called spiking. And you can see the little lines of it here. They'll put string around it really tight in a pattern to further contain the shell. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll remember me saying this, but the more you can contain the explosion, the stronger it'll be. So that's the reason for always spiking these. It makes them, pulls them in solid, and it further contains the explosion. But anyway, we can start to see the little wrapping pattern that they use here. And usually this outside layer they'll use some sort of a paste to wet it and put over it to seal the whole thing. It's the reason it's being difficult to take off. Let's go ahead and cut in through here. Okay, so it does have a separate little thick cap on the top of it. I'm going to go ahead and cut through the time fuse if I can get to it. Let me take this off. Okay, and you can see the outer layer of wrap, of paper for the cylinder. They actually fold it over like that. And there'll be an inside little disc. Let's cut that back. And there's a separate little disc glued there. So there's always, they're made like that with an inner seal, and then wrap that, put an outer thicker piece of cardboard on top, and glue it all, and then put your string on. So let me cut the top off. I'd kind of like to go in from the top if I can. So this would have been the final, would have been built from the bottom up. This would have been the final thing they did. Alrighty. So that's what it looks like initially inside. These outer tubes should be the serpents. The inner is should be your brake charge. Let me get this paper out of the way. A little bag of lift out of the way. And let's go ahead and dump this out. Packed in tightly like it should be. Shell's so old it almost appears, certainly it couldn't be, I don't guess, but it almost appears that it's been some moisture there. The way they're not just packed in, it almost looks like it had moisture. And so the way this is made then is your time fuse will go up right up inside that little chamber, and the brake charge will be packed down around this, around your time fuse and in the center. And when it goes off, then it would send these tubes out, and they would light. So let's see if we can get into the side of this, take tubes apart, see what it looks like. Okay, so if you can see, tubes they don't go all the way to the bottom, so you've still got powder in the bottom there. And let's zoom this in if I can. Zoom this in. Okay, apparently I can't zoom this in any further. So I'll show you that. So the bottom of your tubes, or your serpents, are going to be fuse on them. You can see that. And so those are lit, and I guess it's kind of like it's going to be like a tourbillon. It's just going to flitter around like a serpent when it goes off. They're very hollow. There's not a lot of Well, not a lot of media inside these shells, but that's what we have here. It's all tubes around the perimeter, and your burst charge, which is pretty good size. Let's see if that's actually just powder, or is it coated? Something coated. Almost feels light, too light. But anyway, let's see if we can cut a tube open, see how much compound they have in here. Oh, actually I can see it. So it's about that much. So it's about that much compacted compound in here. Probably a charcoal-based compound, so you wouldn't really have color, you just have fire. Alright, very thick tube they used. But just your normal, almost like a rocket made. So you can see the compound in there, or the composition. And it should just be compressed in there, with the fuse going out the bottom. And a little plug, a little white plug at the bottom, their fuse going up in it. You can see that. And the compressed composition in there. And looks like there's a little bit of metal in the, I can see the glitter, looks like a little bit of metal in the comp there. So anyway, I thought that'd be interesting to show, especially since that's such an old shell. See how this is clumped up on here? That's just not normal for just compressed. Almost like I said, there's been some moisture in there. It is an old shell after all. I don't know how it's been handled prior to me getting it. But that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 serpents. And the container was actually just wound paper. It was not even didn't even start off as a tube. It was just formed that way with multiple wraps of paper. Not a lot of them either. That's another reason for spiking it with string, is to strengthen it also so it doesn't collapse. So there you go, a decades old 3-inch shell. Alright, thanks for watching.